It is just about midnight, and I have been watching skating since about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Yes, it is a little bit crazy, but you do what you gotta do, and we saw some great skating again this afternoon. Some rough skates as well, but we crowned the first champions of the 2012 U.S. National Championships, and I wanted to talk a little bit about them. Won't have time to get to it in the morning before the men take the ice as well as the pairs to finish up their competition, so I thought I'd get to it tonight, and we'll catch up with the ice dance competition first. There was no doubt that this was Meryl Davis and Charlie White's event to win, but that didn't keep the other competitors in the final flight from putting their best foot forward as well, and what a final flight it was. Ice dance in the U.S. has become such a center stage event, and it lived up to that expectation today. Before we get to Meryl Davis and Charlie White, though, we're gonna rewind a bit and go in reverse order. There was an interesting discussion about Madison Chock and Evan Bates and their program as well as their finish today, and how it compared to the team that finished just ahead of them in 4th place, and that is Lynn Kreinkrautz and Logan Giletti-Schmidt, and I've determined that their name is the least Twitter-friendly name of all. There are entirely too many letters for a 140-character limit, so I've decided that we're on a first-name basis, so it's Lynn and Logan. So it's Lynn and Logan, Madison and Evan, just to make things clear. Now, I love Madison and Evan's free dance. I think that it's understated, and it's elegant, and it's absolutely charming. I think it's polished, and it shows off their electric chemistry. They have such brilliant eye contact throughout. They'll catch each other out of the corner of their eye in lifts. They're always so in sync. They're so in tune with each other. And I think this program really shows that off, which is special for a new team. You don't necessarily expect them to have that chemistry. Lynn and Logan, on the other hand, have so much intensity and their character built throughout the entire program. Their music really helped them just establish a pace and establish a character, and they performed some very difficult technical elements throughout as well. Now, in the scoring, because I like to try to compare between skaters, when the protocols came out, I noticed that Madison and Evan got level 2s on both of their step sequences. Footwork, step sequences. It's late. They got level 2s on both of their step sequences, while Lynn and Logan received level 3s on those same 2 step sequences. Now the difference in point total, just in the step sequences, is 2.89. The difference in the free skate score overall is just about 2.58, I believe. That's the difference in the free skate. Now, Lynn and Logan still would have placed higher because of they would have had about a 0.5 lead still after the short dance score. But that's what made the difference in the free dance, and I know there was some controversy about that in the Twitter conversation afterwards. Still, great performances from both of those teams, and from Maddie and Evan, great way to start their partnership. They've had a solid season, and this kind of gives them a place to say, okay, this is where we're at, this is where we need to go. Great for Lynn and Logan as well. They haven't been able to live up to their potential until this point, and I think we really got to see the kind of talent that they are in the event tonight. However, 3rd place went to, in my opinion, a little bit of a surprise medalist in Madison Hubble and Zachary Donahue. Not because they don't have the talent, but they've just been together such a short time that there was a question mark as to whether they'd be able to put all of the pieces together in the amount of time allotted to be at the level to beat some of the other teams that in fact ended up below them in the standings. They skated a great free dance. This is a dance that really, again, shows off the new maturity and the new emotion, the new just kind of sultry, very mature skating from Madison that we never really saw when she was skating with Kiefer. Plus, as I said after the short dance, Zachary is fantastic. He's a great ice dancer. He's a great partner. The two of them balance off of each other very well, and you, again, feel that connection, and they seem to make a really great team that reflects well in the way that they skate together, particularly in this program. They're very strong in all of their elements, very sharp, very clean, and that paid off well for them. Congratulations on a bronze medal on their senior debut as a team together. Well done. The top two teams, though, clearly separated themselves from the pack. Maya Shibutani and Alex Shibutani are definitely the number 2 team, but they're working their way up, and they had a strong free dance as well. They skate so well together because they match so well. Their lines are all the same. Their speed is all the same. The way that they present themselves, their charm is just magnetic. You can't help but smile watching them. But they combine all of that with great technical difficulty. Most of their elements were level 4 throughout. They had a level 4 circular step sequence where Meryl Davis and Charlie White were only a level 3 on their step sequence. Now, Meryl Davis and Charlie White did a lot of other really great things, but Maya and Alex are well on their way to becoming a contender on the world stage permanently if they continue to make the improvements that they have between their Grand Prix events and nationals. It was a great way for them to build as they go throughout the rest of their season. And then Meryl Davis and Charlie White. What do you say about a team that earns a perfect 10 in interpretation? Yeah, a perfect 10 in interpretation in the international judging system where you don't see perfect scores. That's how good this waltz free dance is. Every second of it is choreographed and is planned and is executed to perfection when they do it well. The quality stands out. I was watching with people who don't know much about ice dance at all, and they said that the speed and just the effortless detail in every move stands out so much more than anyone else that we saw skate behind them. And one thing that especially stood out to me today is the closeness with which they skate. They're literally almost joined at the hip, and it's amazing to see how close their blades are, how close their hips are, how perfectly in sync their arms are throughout every move in the program. And to do that while you're performing such technically difficult steps and spins and lifts and dance holds and all of those things that go with it. I know I'm raving, but it's for good reason. These two are so special. And when you compare them to Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer, they're building off of each other and they're really playing off of each other's successes. And I think that competition, as fierce as it is, has made both of these teams that much better, especially when they see each other in practice every day. This event was so spectacular for so many reasons, so many great skates. I'm really proud of the U.S. ice dancers this week, and I think that heading into Worlds as the only discipline with 3 spots on the team says a lot about how far U.S. ice dance has come. Congratulations to all the medalists, and looking forward to seeing you guys at Worlds. The ladies' event, as it always does at Nationals, set itself up to be very exciting and very intense because there are only 2 spots on the world team. Traditionally, those 2 spots have always gone to the top 2 finishers at Nationals. Now, that doesn't have to be the case, but it would have to be a pretty extreme circumstance for U.S. figure skating not to send the top 2. Only the champion is guaranteed a spot on the world team, which meant there was a lot at stake for everyone in the final group who had a chance to reach the medal stand. Again, we'll go in reverse order, and unfortunately that means starting off with one of the medal contenders in Mirai Nagasu. This was a moment that was really hers for the taking. She was so far out of first after the short that there was no room for error, and there was no pressure to stay in the lead like she's skated under so many times after a solid short. She had to go out and attack every element. She started out great with a great combination, and the next combination she tried to turn into a 3-jump combo and fell on the last double loop. She had no speed. There was no way for her to really pull off that combination, and afterwards she said to Coach Frank Carroll, "That was so stupid. I don't know what I was thinking." But that seems to be the problem with Mirai. She gets into a program and loses focus, or she looks up and sees something, or she gets distracted. In fact, on the NBC broadcast, they were saying that someone called her name during the performance, and she looked up into the stands during the performance to see who called her name. You can't do that at this level and maintain your focus throughout a competition. You have to be absolutely locked in. Once she missed the double loop, all downhill from there. There was a fall, there was a stumble, there was a pop. It was just as if you flip a switch and this brilliant ballerina talent of a skater collapses with one mistake. We've seen it time and time again, and you start to wonder what that means for Meryl in the future. She missed the world team for a second year in a row, and this is a girl that finished 4th at the Olympic Games just 2 years ago. Does this knock her confidence so far back that she can't fix it? Or does it simply mean that she needs to restart? That she needs to pick a new location? As much as she loves Frank Carroll, pick a new coach. She needs a new outlook. She needs a new mindset. She said to Frank Carroll in the Kiss and Cry, "That's not how I practice this program. Why can't I compete?" She needs someone who can get inside her head the way that Yuka Sato and Jason Dungeon did for Alyssa Sisney and get her to focus, get her to reevaluate her competitiveness and what it is that will take her from practice ice to competition ice, where she'll be able to live up to the potential that she has. My heart breaks for her in this competition because she's so much better than that. But you have to wonder, what's next from Meryl Nagasu? However, she was not the only one to skate tonight, and everyone had to pick it up and move on. Speaking of picking it up, Rachel Flatt, after being 9th in the short program, came back with no pressure, no expectations. She had really no chance at a medal, and she let go in that free skate, perhaps more than I've ever seen her do, ever. She hit her jumps, she had some mistakes, but the end of the program, into the footwork, and into the final few seconds of the program, she was as free and as emotional and as passionate as I've ever seen her skate. And that was brilliant to see. She's had a rough go of it this season. She's got a lot on her plate right now, and she's clearly committed to being a student first, and her skating hasn't necessarily benefited from that, but to come in and skate the way that she did in this free skate, my hat's off to her, and I wish her nothing but the best. Christina Gow has also had a tough season. I talked to her in the off season, and she had such high goals for this season. In her first full season senior, she battled injuries all the way through, though. This free skate was really the first time that we've seen her enjoy a program and that we've seen her be able to hit the elements that she wanted to. Again, it wasn't perfect, and she's so much better than what she put on the ice. But I'm telling you, when she hits her jumps, they are simply divine to watch. They're so beautiful in the air, on the landings. When she's fully healthy and when she's fully confident, she's going to be one to watch. Nationally, internationally, looking towards the Sochi Olympics, she's got a good head on her shoulders and great talent to build from. Caroline Zhang, mentioned her in the short program. She wasn't perfect in the free skate. However, she never let it get out of control. She didn't crumble, and she hit probably more jumps in this free skate than she hit all last season. And I'm not saying that to knock her, I'm just saying that's the kind of season that she's had for the last couple of years. To come to where she was today, and to end up 4th, to have a medal at nationals, pewter medal still counts, to come that far is so respectable. I have to give credit to her coaches, Karen Kwan and Peter Obergard, for so dramatically changing her technique. There's still room to improve, there's still ways to grow, and there's still things she needs to change. But she's back on track, and it was brilliant to see the Caroline Zhang that we all thought had so much potential back in the day, put it all out on the ice at nationals and do it with such ease and such joy and such confidence. She knew she was going to skate like that. She knew she was ready for this event, and that was so refreshing compared to the fear that we've seen in her so often over the last couple of seasons. That was not the case, however, with Agnes Zawadski. She was skating last, dead last in the competition because she was first after the short program. And everyone was ready to anoint her as the next great thing, as the next great champion for the U.S. The problem is, she's not known for being the most consistent. She hasn't put together a good long program all year, really. And then she was skating with the pressure of leading after the short program, of being the last to skate. of controlling her own destiny. She hit a huge double axel triple toe combination to start the program, and it was kind of downhill from there. She fell on a triple Lutz. That's usually a very reliable jump for her, and it was just kind of like she lost focus. She was out of her element. She was so overwhelmed. She almost hit the boards on a double toe at the end of a combination. She just wasn't sure of herself the rest of the way through, and she was devastated at the end of her performance, dropping from first to third and much lower than that in the free skate. Fortunately, she had a significant lead in the short program. But it's a good learning opportunity for her. She does have talent. She has so much room to improve, but she has to be able to have that experience where she can put clean programs out in both the short and the long before she's going to win too many titles. Alyssa Sisney knows how that feels. This was not her night. She started out looking so confident and went into that first triple Lutz. I felt like it was almost too big, and she put a hand down. She kind of turned out of it, and she wasn't the same after that. However, unlike Alyssa Sisney of the past, she did not crumble. She still fought for every element in the program. She still hit several jumps. She had 2 jumps that were under-rotated, but she still flew through the footwork. She still hit all of her trademark spins, and she did enough to end second just as she started. It's not where she wanted to be. She didn't defend her title. She wasn't guaranteed a spot on the world team, but she did enough, and she medaled back-to-back years at nationals for the first time ever. She's been so up and down in her nationals career that I do think this is a good step forward for her, and hopefully, as she said afterwards, she can learn a little bit more from the tough one here and be stronger going into Worlds. That means there's only one left, and that one is, you know, that girl that said it was her nationals to lose. Nothing like backing up a claim like that with, well, a national championship. She was the only one that went out and skated confidently in the long program, as well as she did in the short. Now, she did pop a triple Salchow middle of the program, but she had 7 triples planned. She was the only one that had 7 triples planned, and she hit 6 of them. So she still did as many jumps cleanly as anyone else in the competition did, and she did a lot more than just hit those jumps. She hit everything else in this program that she needed to in order to win this title. She's not the almost girl anymore, and yet she was very realistic about her world medal chances. The first thing she said was, well, I need to up the ante in some of my technical elements. However, in the press conference after the medals were awarded, she also mentioned that she was on the world's team in 2008 that lost the 3rd spot for the U.S. skaters, and she'd really like to be on the team that helps get it back. The world's team is looking like it's going to be Ashley Wagner and Alyssa Sisney, and I have to say, I feel very comfortable with that team. They've had some international experience this season already and done fairly well. We know Alyssa can compete with the top ladies in the world, although she hasn't had the greatest success at Worlds, but she's improving every time she goes out, and she's in a totally different mindset now. Hopefully she can learn from the experiences at nationals and build on that for Worlds, and hopefully Ashley can build on the confidence that she now has that she is the U.S. national champion and she wants to compete along with the best in the world. It wasn't the cleanest ladies event ever, but it was definitely exciting, definitely competitive, and I think we got some flashes of what's to come in U.S. skating. Some of it good, some of it maybe not so good. But congratulations to Ashley for finally putting all the pieces together at just the right time, and good luck to the U.S. team at Worlds. 2 events down, 2 to go. And technically half of the pairs program was skated tonight, which is a little weird. But the rest of it will be completed tomorrow, as will the men's free skate. The last medals to be awarded at the 2012 U.S. Nationals, and both events look to be a pretty interesting showdown. I don't want to miss it, and I'm sure you don't either.